다 곰 자야 돼. 다 기침보 차용 거요. 샘게 가는 소다. 샘게 때나 다 강이 망보 요나 강이 때 마시거나 양래 강이 때 탈거나 되네 곰자마 히베이나 강이 때 탈트고요 말에 강이 때 식투고요 말에 곰야보 자시 원이나 다 강이 그 간디지 인자 강이 그 간디지 인자 강이 때 미빠땅로 타때 곰코나게 니빠땅 곰코나게 용티 때레스.
So meditation practice is really very important because we always encounter many difficulties in our mind. We have a lot of like we suffer mentally, and so in order to become free from these forms of mental suffering, if we don't meditate, then we can't really be free from mental misery. But if you know how to meditate well, then no matter what difficulty it is, no matter what problem it is, you can liberate that problem. So that is the special power or the quality of meditation.
다 곰 담보 자능하는 다 죽보테 갑토 되고야. 다 때는 송고요레 남남 취dun스. 되니 저 남남 취든 지난 라비나 됐어요. 베나 수보 장보 데바 강바 돌지 좀 자와 되네 산냠자 되네 맥 나질라 따데바 맥마 나질라 따데바 제야긴라 자옹 되네 따뽕바 고효다 자와선 엔리치다 then gatsing data sangas the tendrige koran namna chuduns ta zugbo de nyami yatan ta
Dumba de karare
kamba do chitom reida
mariga tok to kamba lakpa
on rimba in sango
dimba
ta teni te se zugbo de se nyam se zugbo de lulu sine ta de yo koren do dina 다 대답 되고야 가르치나 자 롱, 샘, 스네 숨쉬는 거래. 코란 숨 제와요레스. 코란 숨 제와요인데 당보 자데 장보 요나 자 장보 요나 롱장 자 장 롱장 롱장나 샘장 시드니 샘 네트워크레스. 대유등아 남남 주도시 바테 다 고고요레스. 조본 냠이 야시도 근데 조보다 하장게 정하나서 담보야 많이 봐. 룰루 이유 봐. 들고 그래.
So first, when we begin to meditate, we first should assume a proper physical posture, which we call the 7-point posture of Arochana, which the most important part of that is to have a straight back, a straight spine. And then also the legs are in a cross-legged position, and the hands are in meditation posture, and the eyes gaze to the space on the level of the tip of your nose, and then the tongue is slightly curled up towards the upper palate in the mouth, and then the shoulders are extended, so you pull them back, so your back becomes completely straight, and then your chin is slightly tucked in, and so also your neck is straight. And it's important to sit in a relaxed way. And this position is important, especially the straightness of it is important, because when the body is straight, then your channels also are straight, and the channels and the winds and the mind are strongly connected. So when the channels are straight, then also the winds will move straight. And when the winds are straight, then the mind is straight in a sense that it abides still. So then the most important point, therefore, is the straightness of the 7-point posture. And so then when you sit in this posture of meditation, it is still important not to sit too tight, like constrained, but to sit in a relaxed way.
Tene ta ngaran so shine sena tene simte shwa yimpa te tina net pa tele tene shine la ko yos ta namju ngaran so simte shine chak yo ma namju shine ma chane kare chig yo re simte ta ngupo nelo korang semje ngupo nelo korang sheneri de yine yang aso te ha ma wa chi number to ba ke yon ro ta nam to ke yone ne ma ra ba chi ngujo jan ro ta samsang la devan so wa samsab dong ha ke nam to ta nam to ge ring da ma da mang bo yo ro ba na to nam to dun tra ba na ye yo re samsam nam to ra pa yo re samsam nam to cha wa yo re ta nam to Latine, teni ngarang ke sem de la, ta dedoke solvate, dun chapana ita, te mangbo yong do res. Te Latine, teni ngag le sem ye la detang mi pa, ta tende chan ro re. Teni, ta te chung kawan yong go res na, ngaso gom jama shiba tang, sem yung upo nelo, sem kora rangi de ngaso ha ma o Latine, teni te tab. 대 답지 연구요레스 다 현에 센데 가르치는 거지 현에 해 용값라 다 샘데 혀 가르쳐 뇽문 나버도 봐 남도 망보 대마미 빠차 용거다 남도 미 빠차 용와이나 다데 샘 셔와 대값라 샘 셔와 차들 ne sendu tini semhwa de tina tini juningpo de thapa ta tanda chayo ta juningpo kare chin de thu namto king gujo cha thu yo mata telishine la fiores ta de tab shine gomna pinto kare chu yoresena ta sem기 녀모분 남도 탐지 마 현데 텔레티네 테니 데도긴 찬낭 탐지 셔용 거다 데도긴 찬낭 현데 다 동아 미바 차용 건도와 셈라 힙데스 야 차용 것도 쇼와다 데와 테니 갑디 차용 요레스
So the meaning of shamatha literally is like a peaceful abiding. And so peaceful because actually the nature of the mind is peaceful. And then it is to abide within that peaceful nature of the mind. And normally we do not abide peacefully. And why we do not abide peacefully is because even though our true nature, the actual nature of the mind is actually peaceful, we don't know that, and because of that we are constantly disturbed by many thoughts that arise. Many thoughts move the mind, and therefore the mind never stays still. It never can stay. It always is moved and disturbed or stirred up. And so sometimes we have thoughts of great joy. Another time we have miserable thoughts. We have all kinds of thoughts coming up all the time, just like dust particles flying around. And so sometimes they are more coarse, sometimes they are more subtle. But we are constantly tossed around between happiness and suffering and all kinds of feelings that arise, like dust particles. And because of that stirring in the mind, the body and the mind never actually can abide in peace and in happiness. And the problem is that we don't know how to meditate. That is why we are always somehow disturbed, because we do not rest in the natural state of the mind. We don't know the nature of the mind. And so when what calm abiding or this peaceful abiding means is, what is the peaceful here? It is that when you come to the peaceful nature of the mind, then all those many afflicted thoughts are pacified. So they calm down and you come to the peaceful natural state of the mind. And then the abiding of the peaceful abiding is then to remain within that peaceful nature for a long time. And you can remain for a long time if you are not moved by various thoughts that stir the mind. So that is the meaning of calm or peaceful abiding. And the benefit of practicing this meditation is that all the thoughts, the afflicted thoughts, are pacified, and then all the various perceptions and feelings of happiness and suffering and so on, they all calm down. And when these calm down, then there is no suffering, and so the mind abides just as it is, peaceful and happy.
Shenete do gomde tene namdo ke lot mayua namdo ke tene gujo jamaraba tene te ngala ne tene te shene chakiyores tele pendo chi shubayina ngaran sun chume yoroban chume te ta longmi na chume te ya pari ya bayina me te ko ta de ke yoren gujo san jakyo mari me te ta de ke doa ta long lebi wanyana me te gujo jayong ta ngagi hine yapo ji gom shiwayina hine yapo ji gom tukyo na ta long mi pe marme na yes long mi yo ame ba yes semte namdo ke ka gujo jamar ba namdo gangyang ma je ba namdo gangyang je mar ba semte te tena 네타바 던데 차가요. 다 현에데 고 말아봐이나 다 마메라더니 롱포요는 그저 잡아나이. 드니 나게 현에 고음데 드니 남도 쟁 남도 찌 찬데zon데 드니 샘든 거용 거여 봐. 샘든 거용 거여레스. 던데 차용와이나 다 현에 차가요 말이. 남도 그 요용 거레스. 대인데 현에 희바됐다 남도 그 요 말아봐 남도 째 말아봐 대인은 네타봐 다 던데 시행 거래스 던고 거래스다 너도 남도 그죠 가인 자 말아 남도 요 말아봐 드네 대다보다 현에 대 고미야래 나와요 말이스 가르지나 땅 안에서 찌와 처럼 토마미 바네 드네 레다 남바를 또봐 늦게 지선장네 드네 되게 박차당 박차다 되게 좋은데 다다 대대요래 대인데 남도 든 주바나 용구요래스 남도 든 주바나 용구요래 다 대인도 되니 현에도 저 야보지 곤트비알라 되니 탑시 가르치기 요래스나 되니 탑시 남바 니게 고니 되니 현에 고야라 메서치기 요래스
So shamatha is when a meditation, or peaceful abiding is when you are able to abide without being moved or stirred in any way by thoughts. So there are no thoughts that arise. For example, it is like a butter lamp, like a candle flame, that is in a still place, a windless place. So when there is no wind, then the flame will be still and will not move. When wind comes, the flame will begin to flicker and move. So when you practice shamatha, or the peaceful abiding well, the mind should be like an unmoved candle flame without wind, in a windless place, in a still place. So it is a mind that is not moved by any thoughts. So there are no thoughts arising, a completely still mind. And then it is the abiding aspect of the peaceful abiding is to sustain this state, to continuously remain within this state. If we do not practice shamatha well, then it is like putting the candle flame into the wind, and it will move. And then many thoughts arise, they will stir the mind. And then our meditation is not actually shamatha meditation. So shamatha meditation is when the mind abides without any movement of thoughts, when no thoughts stir the mind, and you're able to sustain this state, this non-conceptual state. And then, of course, that is not easy. It is not easy to practice shamatha, because since beginningless time, from lifetime to lifetime, we have habituated to following our various thoughts, to our way of thinking, and these habitual imprints as a continuum are still present. It still remains. And because of that, thoughts always arise, like dust particles in the space. And so to cultivate a perfect shamatha, there are two methods, two types of shamatha to cultivate.
Tinita shenede tambol ngarange ta nyamni singo zong de tini tara shenede le tini shene tingji ta timi sene nishi yangor ta tambo ngara shene tingji de la jagyor shene tingji de la jang de tini ta yorji le tine tini ngara shene je yak tabi chiyor ta tende ta penna yorla kandiji tingge yoresena penna ngaran nungagen donde metotela ngaran ta metotela ta tini semka mayang wache sem mayang wache metotela ta metotela ta yomkala metotela khado kama yeb la soba ke tendri tapchi kayang chigo yo mare koran sem tela te de yoreta sem tela te ne metotela te ne tini gujo kayang maja bache ne gujo kayang maja bache ne tini te tena tini sem te ne ne mikpa tela tine tini sem te ne ya tini tabi chi yores tini tandri ke mikpa zone tini sem te ne ne mikpa te ne den du tini ngarang ke sem te yang gujo jaga yo mare la me ke tsa te yang gujo jaga yo mare tega rana ne thugu yores ta te kare zina ngarang su chi nyomo ba nam to hyok chimbo yo tsa tini sem te ne mara ndu ta nga ke rokpa chi tsawana yirita rokpa tsawana rokpa tine chi ngarange chala ji chimbo khoko yona ta rokpa chi yona chal khuna kholle lawrwa pe tina yi ngarange yor tele tine tini nga semte ne thap chandu tini sen ne thwela phinto yong yores te ndi tini ngarange mikti mikpati ta meton rawla semte ne tini titena ne ge yores tele chi mikpati tele ta zuta khado yep chepa kangye yoma kain raw chi tena nga ge mikpa tine pena kap pena te chala langkol ti yana ngarang temdo ta chala ngupu kandri chile mikwa te ne tine semte ne pa thap chana ya ndike yore khakhe ge ya hlak ko tena ngarang choge ta dwenjen nam khala hlai ko gom tela tine mikwa te ne ya deke yore dona ta te chikpa re thonda ge tine chikpa re semte ne thap khona chakhe yore.
So first, when we begin with shamatha practice, so first there are two types of shamatha. There is the shamatha with a support and shamatha without a support. And first we train in the shamatha with a support. And that means we are using an object as a support for our shamatha practice. So for example, you can place a flower, for example, in front of you, and then you direct your gaze to the flower, and then you remain there single-pointedly without distraction. And while you gaze at the flower, you don't think about the flower's quality. So you don't think about the color and the shape, the parts of the flower at all. You just use it as a support to fix your mind and your gaze. So you only stay there with your mind without any movement. And then you continue to remain within that state, within your mind, without allowing anything else to arise, without any stirring. And then when that is very single point, that even the eyes will not flicker anymore or blink. And so normally because we have a lot of strong afflictive emotions and thoughts, the mind can never abide still. So we need some support. So it is just like you want to transport something heavy somewhere, you need some help. You look for support. Then it's easier. So in the same way, we need some help in the beginning, a support. And so this object that we focus on is our support. For example, it's a flower, but it could be other things too. For example, it could be a cup, or it could be a prayer wheel, it could be a book, a flower, whatever. And some people even also use the image of the deity. For example, you can visualize the form of the deity in the space in front of you. So all of these are the same in that they are different methods to make the mind abide still.
Yulutini sen etazayate, ta teleshine thinking la boyere. Ta pen dara make zuglatini sem thinking zonanayi, tini nawak ja detini, nanga janda, mada romunda, mada romonimbo, than the tongue. Tini tela sem tene, jatela sem tene, tini young sent in etap zanayan digures. Ta ja, chu, ta maranzo zog, carilla thinning like a sent in etapuyonaya. Tini chikpa chikjang chaka yore ten Drigar yores, telata hene tinchins yulutini nga sen etazaka yores. Tate nga le tambo pala tende tini lapo yore.
So here in the Shamatha with the support, you have the mind abide still on reliance, in reliance on reliance of a support, independence of a support, like an outer object. And so, for example, we can use an object of the eyes, of the sight, a form that we can use as a support. But also, likewise, we can use any other of the sense impressions. For example, the sound that we perceive with our ears. You can also, for example, focus single-pointedly on some instruments or some pleasant sound, and have the mind stay there single-pointedly. And if the mind remains single-pointedly, it is also a suitable shamatha support. Or even smell or any of the other sense pleasures. Whichever support causes your mind to abide, it will become a support of shamatha. And then it causes your mind to abide, then they all have the same purpose. They're all suitable. So this shamatha that uses an object of focus is then called the shamatha with a support, and this is how a beginning practitioner begins to practice shamatha.
Ta hene timi sean sadu ta ta tinji de ngag yabo gomshi se tini timi pas ta ngara yolla matimba ngara rantok gutini ta gom jatbya telatini hene timi laboyore pena ngara so chala ji chimbo ji khogu yona ta ngara zupo yapo tangne jomda yapo chene tini ngara ga chala de yapo khurtbya yimba roba chi magowa roba tsar magowa ngara ge khurtba na yinge ta ngara ge tini rantok gutini tini gom jatba ta telekene timi se ta gom se ansati ta ngara so hene goyong gore hene se tini semte semge tini namto tamche le tarwa semge number to ba tamche le tarwa tini te da namto tamche le tarna semti shawa chade yore semti shawa kare hyore nyo mo bale shoyoma number to bale shoyoma tendre tena tini tele shawa te tena tini net ba tela ta shenes ta telanga so gom shene gom se ta trichi shegyore chi gom sense de chi ngarang zugda troresa o khado ye laso ba tendre ke ganyang gom go yo ma res tene semde namdo mi pangala net ba ta tela tene shene gom ba se ta tresung yo sares ta to ngarang ke be zorse tene gom yang jap tende che wanyina tini ko shene de yapo gon ta pa chayong gore shene de yapo gon ta pa chong wanyina Tene ngala ranging same tele shibde papep tene yong yore tene je nyomo ba na bar to batam je ma chung no yore kora shene ka tok tene yong yore es.
And so then once you have cultivated, habituated well such a shamatha with a support, then you move to the second type of shamatha, which is without a support. And so then here you do not rely on any kind of object as an object of focus. You only meditate with resting in your own mind without any other object. For example, if you have exercised after a while of carrying around heavy things, you become trained, and then eventually one day you don't need a help anymore, you don't need a support anymore, you can carry it on your own. And so in the same way, if you have trained well in the shamatha with support, one day your mind will become trained and you can practice the shamatha without a support. And that is then a meditation state that is a complete absence of thoughts, a peaceful state, and there are no afflictions. Afflictions are pacified, thoughts are pacified. And you continue to remain within this peaceful state, this concept-free state. And that is the practice of peaceful abiding. And so here, without a support, you do not need to rely on any sensation, any object, any shape or sound or any kind of form. You only rest within the thought-free, natural state of the mind, and you continue to remain within this state peacefully. So first we need to make an effort in practicing again and again, and if then the shamatha practice becomes well, you really have trained well in shamatha practice, then at some point the mind will just naturally abide in its peaceful and joyful state, which is completely at ease, and then just naturally all the afflicted thoughts will diminish. Question? We already had 20 minutes of instructions.
Marton tartok deva top yamares. Tartok deva top gona semje nelung tongo yores. Semje nelung tongwar hibala tambo shine yapogom. Teni ta teni semje sartong sene teni sarwata tongba ta so sartong ge teni gomjaya nan beso sene teni ta nyomupa jotan jepa tani pangtopa teni ngaye yone teni tartok dimba topo yores. 마도 전에게 다도 dimba topo yomare. 이네야 다 신에도 야보 곰 포바이나 내가게 대화당 내가 그 동화대다 탐지 빵로 요레스 셔토고 요레스.
So when we practice shamatha, the benefit of practicing shamatha is that temporarily our afflicted states of mind are pacified, and therefore temporarily we also pacify suffering. But we still, only depending on shamatha, we still have not found the ultimate happiness, a lasting happiness. In order to find the ultimate lasting happiness, we need to see the nature of the mind, realize the nature of the mind. But in order also to realize the nature of the mind, we first must cultivate shamatha, peaceful abiding. And then once that is cultivated, then we also need to practice the aspect of clarity. And so then we make an effort in practicing that union of clarity and emptiness. And then ultimately we will be able to uproot entirely all the bases of affliction. So ultimately, from the ultimate perspective, only the practice of shamatha will not lead to the ultimate state of lasting happiness or enlightenment. So it is only a method to temporarily calm down our temporary various thoughts of happiness and suffering.